I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is Northwest Brew Talk. Welcome to Northwest Brew Talk, the #1 podcast on Washington beer, brought to you by Micro Homebrew, located in Kenmore. This is episode number 76. Each and every week, we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved and drinking Washington beer. If you like Washington beer, learn about the people behind it here on our show. This week on the Micro Homebrew interview, we talk with Icicle Brewing. We also have our brew news and local music from Tiny Messengers. With over 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer.
If you have any comments or questions, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, share our link and tell your friends on social media. It takes just a few to start a revolution. Our first beer this evening is from Port Townsend Brewery, located in Port Townsend and open 7 days a week. We're drinking Hop Diggity, a classic Northwest style IPA. Hop Diggity has a smooth, pale malt background and a full round hop profile. Dry hopping ensures an aromatic and lasting hop finish. This is their best-selling ale. ABV is 5.9%, IBU 70, and an untapped rating of 3.61.
Okay, we've got a pretty clear, slightly golden here, yellowish color. Nice little white head on it.
Not a real strong hop smell.
No, not a, considering it's called Hop Diggity. Yeah, it's not a super strong smell.
But quite the bitter taste there right off the bat.
Yeah, but it's not as bitter.
No, it's not. Like overpowering.
That,
it's good.
Not that biting bitter.
But I wasn't expecting much. I mean, not that I wasn't expecting much flavor, but I wasn't expecting that much flavor on the front like that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Definitely a Northwest IPA for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not bad at all.
Topping this week's news. The big news this week is 3 new breweries opened last week. 4 Generals Brewing opened in Renton, Floating Bridge Brewing opened in Seattle, and Prison Break Brewing opened in Snohomish. All 3 opened late in the week and joined the growing number of breweries in our great state. Best of luck to them, and we hope to stop in soon. Next Monday, August 1st, is Brewery Night at Safeco Field. The event takes place before the Mariners game, and pre-sale tickets get you a t-shirt and 2 drink tickets. The Mariners stock many indie beers from Washington, but on this night, there will be 12 different breweries in attendance for this special event. Tacoma Beer runs from August 1st through the 6th with events across Tacoma. The city has seen the number of indie beers increase in the past few years, and this is the time to showcase everything they have. There will be special beer releases, barbecues, and a special party at the Copper Door celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Beatles' Revolver album. Visit TacomaBeerWeek.com for all the events.
Another event from Tacoma Beer Week will take place on August 6th called Beer Fest of Destiny. To be held at Windman Brewers, this event will feature many of Tacoma's breweries, food trucks, and live music. It runs from noon to 6 and is $20 for 10 5-ounce tastes, or just $8 at the door for the beer garden and music. It's sponsored by Tacoma Beer Week and the South Sound Craft Crawl. And since there are not enough brewfests, August 12th to 14th is the Vancouver Brewfest, held at Esther Short Park in downtown Vancouver. If you aren't heading to a brewery or brew pub, where would you like to go? Maybe a bar that really caters to indie beer? Well, Draft Magazine at draftmag.com lists the 100 best beer bars in America. Washington did okay with Beverage Place, Brower's Cafe, and the Pine Box and Stumbling Monk, all in Seattle, making the cut. Not sure why they didn't seem to look anywhere else in the state, but they picked those as 4 of the 100 best beer bars in America.
With no real surprise to anyone, the Justice Department has approved the merger of the first and second largest breweries in the world, Anheuser-Busch InBev and SAB Miller. The $107 billion deal had some stipulations attached. The settlement prevents AB from any practice that would prevent craft and import beers from being fairly distributed. There are restrictions of their purchases of distributors. They also agree not to terminate any wholesaler because of the merger. It's not perfect, but better than nothing. The Northwest Cider Association, NWCA, is presenting its 6th annual Summer Cider Day on Saturday, August 6th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Northwest Maritime Center in Port Townsend. With more than 60 ciders to try, music, and gourmet gluten-free fare from Siren's Pub, this family-friendly event showcases some of the top cideries from Washington and Oregon. Tickets are $25 in advance or $30 at the door and include 8 tasting tickets and a tasting glass.
On Saturday, August 6th, is the Olympia Brew Fest. Over 30 breweries will be participating, serving over 60 beers, plus food vendors and live music. It is being held at Port Plaza Park. The event is 21 and older, and tickets are $25 in advance or $30 at the door. Proceeds from the festival benefit the Thurston County Chamber Foundation Small Business Development Incubator Program. Three Magnets Brewing in Olympia has an interesting event called Olympia Brew Festivities taking place August 2nd through August 6th. Each night, they will tap a keg of beer from Sea Pine, Holy Mountain, Cloudburst, and Stoop breweries. And when the keg is gone, it's gone. Then on Saturday, they will host a Brewfest after party with beers from local breweries. Lastly, this week, the U.S. Open Beer Championship winners were recently announced. Almost 5,000 entries in 90 categories. Several of Washington's breweries did well. Reuben's Brews won silver medals for Seattle Milk Stout in the cream stout category and Triumvirate in international style pale ale. Heathen Brewing won silvers for Highland Charge in Scottish strong ale and Epitaph in aged beer. Icicle Brewing won bronze for Dirty Face Amber in Marzen, Oktoberfest, or Vienna. And Ghostfish took home the Triple Crown with gold, silver, and bronze in the gluten-free category. Their Grapefruit IPA won gold, Kai Dog Red took silver, and Russian Imperial Stout took the bronze. And that, first of all, congratulations to all the winners. And that, my friends, is the brew news this week.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
On this week's Micro Homebrew interview, we're talking to Pamela from Icicle Brewing in Leavenworth. We are here with Pamela from Icicle Brewing in Leavenworth. How are you doing today?
Great. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. All right, and why don't you give us a little background? We were just talking, and you said that you didn't even like beer at one point. You were married to a hop farmer.
Yeah. So I met my husband in college, and after college, Oliver comes from a long line of hop farmers, and so we got married and moved back to the farm, and I would go to hop conventions, and I wasn't a real beer drinker because I would maybe have Keystone Light or things that typical college people drink, and so I was drawn towards wine, and finally my husband's like, you might want to try beer, we're at a hop convention. So I remember I started off drinking Amstel Light, and then eventually I was really drawn to IPAs. I think must have been being married to a hop farmer, that great combo with hops. And so then eventually I really got into like Boundary Bay IPA. I loved that, and we eventually sold our farms, and we wanted to move to Leavenworth, and so we opened up München House, our sausage grill beer garden. And we always, when we decided to add beer, we definitely always wanted to have craft beer on tap, and so so by then I definitely was a craft beer fan, and so from there we eventually expanded into building our brewery, Icicle Brewing Company. So.
Nice. So neither one of you brew, so you hired a brewer, right?
Yeah, sometimes they let me help brew, but I do more like cleaning or shoveling spent grain. But we do have a brewmaster, Dean Preby, and he has been with us since the beginning. He was he went to UW, and he used to brew in his dorm room like 20 some odd years ago. And then he had won a Pro-Am competition and had brewed with Pike Brewing.
Okay.
And so we knew about that and tried his porter. And so our porter that we have on tap is still that same recipe.
Oh, nice.
And it's the Preby porter.
Nice.
And so he is our brewmaster. Oliver, my husband, has home brewed, but we knew that the business side takes a lot of focus too, and in order to have the consistency and quality, we knew that Dean would be a great fit. He was a forestry engineer for Longview Fiber before, so he's done an amazing job.
Yeah. You were talking about the what do you call that that beer there?
Oh yeah, the Dark Persuasion. That's
go.
our German chocolate cake ale, and so it's a porter, but it's brewed with cocoa nibs and coconut and vanilla, so it really does taste like German chocolate cake in a glass.
Yeah,
it's a fun one.
Nice. And originally Dean wasn't interested in doing that because he wanted to do a pure style.
Yeah, Dean definitely is more of a purist. That's what makes his beers so great, is he's very consistent. And so when myself and our marketing manager talked with him about doing a German chocolate cake ale, which we thought would be amazing, he was a little hesitant at first, and so. But I'm definitely persistent, and so I thought it would be fun to decorate his office with while he was gone. And at that time, I put a German chocolate cake on his desk with a nice note saying, "Pretty please, just try it." And so that's how we got our Dark Persuasion. It's won 18 awards, so it is our most award-winning beer, and Dean definitely likes brewing it now.
Yeah, I can understand it. 18 awards, I mean, for one beer alone, for a brewery to have 18 awards over a bunch of beers would be pretty amazing, but for one beer, that's got to be quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, no, all of our other beers have won awards, but they each have won around 8, and so for this one to have won 18, it's a pretty big deal, and it definitely is a unique beer, and so I can see why it kind of stands out.
Yeah. So, as a brewery owner, do you think having awards? Do you think that's important to, like, for promotion or for something for the brewery?
I think I'm always really excited every time we win an award, because it's validation that other people think your beer is great. But I also know breweries who have never won awards, but I know that they have great beer. Mm-hmm. And so I think that it's a great component, but I don't always look at the awards when trying to find a beer. I think finding good beer is all about finding flavors that you like, and it's so personal. And I know that a lot of breweries that maybe haven't won awards, it might be that maybe their beers don't fit in certain styles, or they fit in styles that are very competitive. Mm-hmm. And so you could brew a great IPA, but it may not be award winning because there are a lot of IPAs out there. Yeah. So I think it's one component, but I think the best thing you can do is just get out there and find beers that your taste buds like. So
yeah. So at the brewery, do you have a full spectrum of styles then, right?
Yeah, we do. We have a restaurant, and we have our restaurant München House, and then we have our brewery just 3 blocks down the street, Icicle Brewing Company, and we do have a beer and wine restaurant. We don't do a lot of food at the brewery, because just enough so that you can enjoy some pairings while you're there. We have a meat and cheese plate, and sandwich, salad, some seasonal local fresh foods. And so we wanted enough of a beer spectrum to be able to kind of find flavors for everyone. We have a lot of tourists that come to Leavenworth, and we know how important it is to have some lighter beers and darker beers. And living in a German-themed town, it was important for us. I'm also half German, so
Okay.
it was important for us to make some good lagers too. I think that lagers are difficult to make, but we felt like it was important because that they offer a flavor profile that actually are really fun to pair with our food too, since we do specialize in sausage at München House. To me, it was really important to have well-made lagers because they just pair so well. So we do have anything from the Kolsch all the way to the Porter, Dark Persuasion, some barley wines here and there. We have our Bier de Garde on tap here, so all kinds of beers.
So you have your beers at both locations then?
Yes, yeah. We also carry a German import, and sometimes we have guest brews, and we do have a cider on tap at München House. So we treat both locations as different entities because we do have kind of a different customer base, but we do serve our beer at both locations.
So the Bavarian themed town, does that bring in a different type of tourist or a different type of crowd that drinks the beer?
Yeah, I think that a lot of Leavenworth has really grown. We purchased our property that München House is on in 2000 and built München House in 2001, and even since then till now, Leavenworth has changed a lot. People do come for the Bavarian theme, but I think they also come because it is kind of a gateway to recreation. There are so many different opportunities all at throughout all seasons of the year, winter, spring, summer, fall. There's usually a festival going on. There's skiing in the winter, river rafting in the summer, tons of great hiking and mountain climbing, mountain biking, like you name it, outdoors, we probably have it there. So I think the Bavarian theme is awesome because I've been to Germany quite a bit, and it really does look like the Bavarian Austrian Alps when you go there. So it's a great way to be able to get a taste of Germany without going overseas, but also enjoy the gateway to recreation too.
Nice. Yeah, I saw a special, must have been a PBS special, about when like in the 60s, I think it was, when they decided they were going to change the town over. That must have been pretty interesting at that point.
Yes.
But so your building, was it new? Did you built your?
We
you
built it.
Right?
No, the property that we purchased was the drive-through for what used to be the Seafirst Bank in town.
Okay.
So so there wasn't anything there, and we realized we started out just by popping kettle corn, and then we slowly, as we we were farming wine grapes at the time. My husband had started vineyards over in Mattawa, and so we eventually decided we needed to sell that to add our sausage grill. So we've kind of just piece by piece added little by little to eventually have our sausage grill and brewery.
Okay. So do you make the sausage, or is it something you purchase?
No, we actually purchase it from Bavarian sausage makers.
Really?
Bavarian Meats, Yars European Sausage. So, and they've been great. Yars makes a beerwurst for us made out of our Dirty Face lager.
Nice.
So that's a great pairing. The Dirty Face amber lager with the Dirty Face beer brat is really good.
Nice.
It's a fun business.
Yeah, I bet. Especially if you like food and German food and beer.
Yeah.
But so what is the future hold for Icicle?
Yeah, so right now we only distribute in Eastern Washington, and I think because we started out in the restaurant business, it was always difficult if we found a beer we liked and then all of a sudden we couldn't get it. And so for us, it's always been really important to not underproduce for our market. And so we're hoping that we someday will be able to expand our production to be able to distribute on the west side of the mountains and statewide. So
Awesome.
so we're excited to we're looking at some opportunities now for that.
So do you have the capacity to be able to do that?
Not at this time. Right now, last year we brewed just under 5,000 barrels.
Which
So
is still a pretty good
yeah,
number.
which is it's a good number. But
And you sell all that on East?
yeah,
Wow.
in Eastern Washington. And so, but we really would need to expand our production to be able to sufficiently take care of accounts to expand. So
that's something that's in the future then, huh?
yeah, we've actually been talking with a developer in town. So we're hoping to make some progress on that.
Awesome. Well, Pamela, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much, and we're excited. This is our first year to be at the Washington Brewers
Oh, really?
Festival.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's a great event.
Yeah,
so.
thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Sure.
All right, thanks to Pamela from Icicle Brewing for joining us today. Great interview.
If you are a home brewer looking for a great shop to buy your homebrew ingredients and equipment, why don't you check out Micro Homebrew in Kenmore? Tony and his staff are always happy to help a new or experienced homebrewer find what they need. At Micro Homebrew, they're proud to carry over 100 hop varieties. Visit them today at 17511 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore, or find them on Facebook at Micro Homebrew. When you stop in, make sure you tell them that you heard about them on Northwest Brew Talk.
All right, we'll be right back after a local music break from Tiny Messengers.
Awake in the morning, alive by the evening. And somehow you're here by my side once more. Untie my hands and rely on my reason. Or stare through the light as it shines on your door. stare makes the fight worth reliving. Untie my hands and let the tide take me home. And one day you'll stand through the night undefeated. Get up in the morning and fly on your own. Keep
Was One Fine Morning by Tiny Messengers. You can check them out at tinymessengers.bandcamp.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today.
Hi, I'm Mike Rizzo, author of Washington Beer, A Heady History of Evergreen State Brewing. The history of brewing in Washington dates back to when the area was just a territory. My new book, Washington Beer, tries to cover everything from the 19th century to modern days. American Craft Beer said, quote, author Michael F. Rizzo does the considerable legwork for us in Washington Beer, unquote. Through dozens of photos and detailed notes, the history slowly evolves. WA List said, quote, Michael Rizzo takes the name a Washington Beer game to a whole other level, unquote. From Prohibition to the modern craft beer movement, over 300 brewery histories are explored. One of craft beer's pioneers, Mari Kemper from Chuckanut Brewery, said, quote, he's done a noble job of trying to reconstruct the industry's history from oral stories and bits and pieces of written documentation. A great read for anyone interested in finding out how the beer industry developed in Washington State, unquote. From Arcadia Publishing, the book features a 16-page color insert and costs $21.99. You can pick up a copy at your local bookstore, online, in ebook format, or directly from me, autographed. Get your copy today. Upcoming events for Washington Beer include Saturday, August 6th. We'll be in Spokane at Black Label Brewing with Auntie's Books for a signing and history talk. Buy a book and you save $2 on a pint. The next day, August 7th, we'll be live at Iron Goat Brewing for a signing. The following Saturday, August 14th, we will be in Vancouver at Lewitt Brewing doing a talk and signing with Vintage Books. Looking forward to these upcoming book signings and talks. We've got some other things that we're working on. Hopefully we'll have some cool events that will take you through the fall and into the winter.
Our second beer this evening was gifted to us from Ghostfish Brewing Company. Thank you so much for that. They are located in Seattle and open 7 days a week. They make gluten-free beers and now have a full gluten-free menu. You can check out our interview with them back on episode 61. We're drinking their first anniversary special Russian Imperial Stout. This stout is brewed with malted and roasted millet, roasted buckwheat, purple corn, cane sugar, and hopped with Chinook and Willamette hops. It is a heavy body with immense depth and flavor, and real chocolate and mocha flavors, and some dark fruit notes reminiscent of red wine. 12% ABV, 85 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.61.
All right.
Very dark beer.
Yeah, I got a nice smell.
As
Extremely
expected.
dark. You
Nice
can see,
head on it, too.
Yep, see a tiny bit of light through it. But yeah, huge head on it. Nice creamy, foamy head.
Smells delicious. You can smell that coffee right away, and then those flavors. I'm always so impressed by all the flavors that come, and one right after the other.
Yeah.
It's extremely complex. I love that.
Yeah, this is definitely an imperial, but you're right. You can smell and you can taste the coffee and the chocolates and all those right away, and even later sitting on your tongue.
Absolutely. Definitely a sipping beer.
Yeah, but that's nice.
It's very good.
I'm pretty sure we tried this when we did our interview with them.
Yep,
but
I think we did.
good stuff. If you like imperial stouts or anything like this.
It's delicious. I love it.
There you go. And that would be fine.
I do. I love the complexity of these. A lot of times the stouts and the Russian Imperial too. I'm always impressed.
I want you to get me fresh beer. You serious?
This week's Spotlight Indie Beer release is from Narrows Brewing. Their July release is Area 13 Imperial IPA. Big malt backbone to balance all the C hops in the mash, boil, whirlpool, and dry hop. 9.8% ABV, 87 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.91.
All right, obvious. I wonder where Area 13 is. I wonder if it's anywhere near Area 51. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we chat with West Coast Brewing.
Thanks to our sponsor, Homebrew. This show is written and produced by Michelle Rizzo and myself.
If you'd like to contact us, feel free to send us an email at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or contact us on Twitter at nwbrewtalk. Our theme music is from Gilbert Neal. Check him out at gilbertneal.com. He just released a new album.
And yep, we'll be playing something else from that in the upcoming couple weeks here. And until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hoppy, my friends. It's being held at Port Park. It is being held at Port